feeling. This place is jumping off hard as it can get. No, we won't ever stop dancing on the edge. We like it dangerous, we like to see you split. Turn up another notch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you something. 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 Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling. Like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling. I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling. Oh, I got a real good
What's up, everybody? Smay is back in the producer seat, so you never know what's going to happen on today's show. I didn't even know. I think I timed it right. For all I know, we're not even live yet, but I'm hoping you guys are seeing this. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Live. Again, Jeb is out on vacation, much needed. So it is a Tim and Smay takeover. Smay is back from the dentist. Although he did come on the end of yesterday's show, he was not here for much of the day. So welcome back, Smay, sitting in the producer seat.
Hi, everybody, I'm back!
Smay, how are you? I know I see you're rocking a hardcore Boston outfit. What are you feeling today?
I'm sad!
Nice. Okay. Well, sitting in our co-host seat, because again I'm over here in Jeb's seat, so we have not officially decided a name for Greg yet. We're still workshopping that, but we know he has a past as a gigolo, so that might play a little role in it. Although that was fake news. But anyways, sitting next to him is, as we have decided, definitely Caleb. He's gonna be helping read some questions in chat. Say hello, everybody.
What up, what up?
What was that delay, bro? You had to think about it?
There was a lag in his brain.
He goes,
hello.
Oh, hello, everybody. Oh, goodness. Alrighty.
Yeah, today is going to be a great stream, guys. We are going to be discussing a lot. We are going to be discussing Cardano. I think the biggest thing to take away today is look at what is happening on the MACD chart in all three, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. We are going to discuss all of that. We are going to discuss mindset when it comes to crypto. And I didn't even know we were fully going to be discussing this until just a second ago when I checked my Twitter. Just so you guys know, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is, I don't even know, I literally have to look at it. That's how unprofessional I am. It's the crypto_beard. And there was a tweet at me yesterday from Matt Hamilton. Matt, if you are watching or if you end up seeing this, I'm going to read your tweet. He says, at CryptoBeard, hi, just saw your latest stream from a few hours ago when you talked about XRP and it being centralized. Are you interested in me coming on your show to chat about it? It seems both you and yourself and the guest that read a random paragraph are misinformed. First, Matt, absolutely. I would love, that's the whole thing, is I would love to have people disagree with me. My speculation wasn't based off that one paragraph. I've done a lot of research. I'm going to hold to my position on XRP, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. But Matt, just so you know, I am completely down with you coming on the show. So look for that in future weeks, I guess. I don't know. Reach out to us, Matt. I'm not the best person to reach there. But let's go ahead and dive into what I think is going to be important. Let's start by looking at the Bitcoin technicals before we talk about an article that I think is going to be very fascinating about the future of not just Bitcoin, but crypto in general. So go ahead and go to my chat or my screen there, Smay. Here we are looking at the daily chart of Bitcoin. So as we talked about before, we drew this. We were coming out of a symmetrical triangle pattern. The good news is we have broken out of this pattern bullish. However, we still need to be paying attention to this line right here, sitting at 40,000, that level of resistance. It is key, guys. Way too often I have seen us break out of these patterns bullish, but then there was a lot of technicals still saying there might be some downside, and we end up just breaking down past this resistance. So right now, the biggest thing I want you guys to be focusing on is this $40,000 resistance and this ascending support level. But ultimately, while there are some things that are pointing, oh, that's not what I wanted. While there are some things that are pointing both bullish and bearish, technical analysis works until it does not. So we have a lot to look at in the coming weeks when this happens. But one thing you will see, and I'm going to be talking about this on all three, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, what we are seeing right here on the MACD on the daily chart is a confirmation of a bullish cross. Now, why is this so important? Technical analysis will teach you that in Jeb's course CD2A, which I am all the way through now officially, but I probably want to go through and refresh myself on some stuff. He talks about the significance here, but I just want to do a little history lesson, because if we were to go to the 4-hourly chart, which I'll go real quickly, we can see there's actually a couple times we'll cross there, but overall, what's really interesting is what happens when we cross on the daily chart. So you guys will see these yellow lines right here, and it shows what's happening. So I'm going to go ahead and take the RSI and MACD off. Right here, this happened back on the 30th of April. We crossed and confirmed on the MACD that we were bullish. So in this ascending, we actually went ahead and rose by 27%. Again, over here on the 12th of April, we crossed and we saw an ascension of 17%. Over here on the 31st of March, we crossed, we saw 18%. And back here on March 9th, we crossed and we saw us rise all the way up 32%. So what could we potentially expect? If we were to find somewhere in the middle of what's happening, let's say we do 18, it's going to put us close right around that 40,000 mark. If we go up and shoot above there, go 27, we're going to be sitting a little bit closer to 42, a little closer to 43. And then we also have potentially, we're going to get back up to 32, in which case we can make it all the way to 44. Only time will tell. We will need to keep an eye on this, but just so you guys know, this is something that is good for Bitcoin. This is something that potentially could be a rallying point to say we're going back into the bull run and the bull cycle. However, again, keep your eyes on this resistance level right here at 40,000 and this support, this ascending support, because there's still a lot of information that needs to come out. There's still a lot of things happening that could potentially, like I said in the beginning, potentially make us bounce off this 40 and then drop below the support, in which case it wouldn't even be the worst thing in the world, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. More importantly, I want to talk about a piece of information that came out yesterday, I believe, and it's about Ron Paul. So for those of you who don't know, Ron Paul was a former presidential nominee. I think he ran as a Republican, but ultimately he is a libertarian. So he's kind of just in a position of, listen, I don't want to care about either side of it. I want people to have freedom. I want the government to kind of get their hands out of things. And if you are here watching the show, I am assuming you are a fan of crypto, which is of the same mindset. Let's get centralized systems out of here. Let's get the power back to the people. But this was a really interesting article. What's going to come of it, I don't know. But just so you guys are aware, there are people who have positions of authority with opinions that would very much have my vote of support. So it says, former presidential candidate and Congressman Ron Paul has renewed calls for Bitcoin to be legalized as money and not taxed. Paul is a staunch libertarian and author of Bitcoin Favorite and The Fed, who has advocated for the legalization of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the past. The former congressman has also regularly taken aim against the Federal Reserve for its unchecked money printing since the pandemic began. Pause. So what is he saying? We need something to fight against the inflation of the dollar. I'm against the Fed, who literally just prints money whenever they want to. That is ultimately, if you guys were paying attention to the news a couple weeks ago, there was a thing that went on, a bank in the UK that was literally saying inflation is just the government stealing money from the poor people. So moving forward, it says ahead of his appearance at the Miami Bitcoin conference on June 3rd, that's today, the 85-year-old spoke with the streaming financial news provider Kitco News and noted that his goal is to help legalize the competition. And then I think the people will sort it out. Freedom of choice will sort it out. I'm going to skip down here right to his quote. He says, right now, if you buy gold and sell gold, you get it taxed, and they can do that. If you make a profit in Bitcoin, you read stories about people getting taxed on it. You can't tax money. You don't tax it. If you bought $1 a year ago and it went down 10%, you can't take a loss because your dollar lost value. So ultimately, summing this all up, and I'm going to go to full screen. Ultimately, what he's really talking about is the fact that Bitcoin is currency. It should be utilized as currency. Anytime the government gets involved, they're going to want to put their hands on things. They're going to want to control things, and that is wrong because, for example, while they will tax you on your profits of gold, they'll tax you on your profits of Bitcoin and all crypto in general. If you get $1 last year and it raises, they're not going to tax you on that. And better yet, if you get your dollar and you lose money, they're definitely not going to help you out. Ultimately, he is saying that Bitcoin needs to be going the same way. Now, he does say in the article, I'm not actually going to be advocating for Bitcoin, against Bitcoin, with Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrency. That's not my point. Ultimately, what my thoughts are is that we need to give people freedom and let people figure it out. Instead of having a centralized government, centralized bank make all of the decisions for us, we should be the ones making the decision. And in case you're new to crypto, that is the ultimate purpose of what crypto is that we see the power and the centralized governance, and we're like, we need to get that power back from them. That's the whole mission of this company, Crypto Jeb, is that we want to help people take back the power and control from the people who stole it from them, stole it from us. And so what we have here, just some takeaways I want to leave you guys with. I'm going to let you guys answer some questions. I'm going to answer some questions, let you guys give your opinion on this. But ultimately, Bitcoin is money and should be treated that way. That is what Ron Paul is saying. It is money. It should be treated the same as money. You don't pay extra taxes for the value of the dollar going up, so therefore you shouldn't have to pay extra taxes because your Bitcoin goes up. Ultimately, he is not saying the government. He's saying the government will always try to do things and they'll always try to control things. But the whole thing is that we should pursue decentralization and giving power back to the people. Let me know in chat. Hit a 1 in chat if you agree with him. Hit a infinity if you disagree. But anything in chat that is interesting, any thoughts that we have that people want to chime in with?
Nothing about that you just read.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks.
Seen a lot of ones.
A lot of ones. Good. Now I'm definitely in the ones. And ultimately, guys, you have a question?
Yeah. No, I can read something for somebody.
Okay.
Greg, they're trying to tell you that your crypto name should be Crypto Geb.
Crypto Geb.
Yeah, no, to share 2 letters of Jeb's name is an honor. So yes.
It's true.
I'll
Crypto
receive
Geb.
it if it's being given.
Yeah. Well,
I like it.
before we move on, guys, make sure if you like this, like the stream, hit subscribe. You know what would be super cool is even with Jeb not here, if we could eclipse 120,000 subscribers, it would take a small miracle, but it starts with you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you dislike, again, we talked about this a while. We haven't informed our audience in a while. So if you're new, there is a glitch on our YouTube channel. If you want to dislike our videos, you have to hit the like once and then the subscribe. But if you do it within 3 seconds, it will register as a dislike. So make sure you do that. Let's go ahead and move on to the world of Cardano because ultimately this is what you guys are super excited about. So you can go ahead and go back to my chart right here. Well, look at that, Tim. Again, guys, Crypto Jeb and CD2A teaches amazing technical analysis. It does not teach you how to present to YouTube, so bear with me on this and stay with me on all this drawings. I'm not good at 2-minute technicals the way Jeb does. However, if you stay with my logic, you will understand why I have all this stuff drawn up. Again, the word of the day, the thing of the day to pay attention to is the MACD. You guys will see these yellow lines. We have a confirmation right here that we are crossing bullish on the MACD on the daily chart. And I'm going to go back and look at the history of when that happens. But a couple things we should look at. First of all, I'm going to look at the 4-hourly chart real quick just to show you clearly because it is important. On the 4-hourly chart, we did end a 4-hourly chart candlestick ahead of this level of resistance sitting at 180. That is big because if you were watching the show yesterday, we talked about how technical analyst specialist Michael Van De Pope said that if we can break through that $1.80 resistance on Cardano, then we will potentially make a rally as high as $3.30. But I saw another article this morning. Don't need to go look at it because ultimately it's brief and I'll explain it to you. They are saying this breakout potentially is going to lead us back to an all-time high, which all we'd have to do is beat out $2.50, what is that, 54 cents. So keep an eye on that. Real quick, I think we have a question in chat that Caleb is saying that we have. I want to answer that.
Yeah, just bouncing back. The Crypto Badger wants to know, what do you think of Ron Paul for president?
Ron Paul for president? Well, let's see. When he ran, I think it was my first time I ever could vote. I did not vote in primaries whatsoever, so I didn't get to vote for him, and then he obviously didn't win. So the truth is, before I would make any type of thing, I would need to know more about him. I like his position when it comes to decentralization versus centralization, but I would not be a voter based off of one issue. I would look at the whole thing as a whole. That's a whole different world. That's politics. But, this goes a long way in helping my vote of confidence if he were to run again. Although he's
Tim
85.
is our president.
He's, that's
Tim
true. I
is
can't
our
vote for him. I have to
president.
vote for myself. I totally forgot about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a dilemma. Yeah.
All right, let's
Come
get
back
back
to
to
me.
some Cardano.
Let's get
I'm
back to it.
excited to
All right.
learn.
Coming back to the chart. So, again, like we talked about, these yellow lines are the history recently of when we had a bullish cross on the MACD. So I don't even know why this one is still sitting here. That is speculative. Nothing has happened there. What we need to look at right here, first of all, we crossed right here on the 28th of April, and we rallied 150%. Now, right here on the 11th of April, we only rallied 36%, but we're going to talk about that here in just a second. And we back up right here to the 2nd of February, which obviously we know that Cardano killed in quarter one. They did amazing. It was the number one altcoin of quarter one. But we see right here when we crossed, we had a 438% increase. Now, that is something that we need to pay attention to. Remember, we crossed again. We have confirmed right here, we have confirmed a crossing on the daily chart. But what's even more interesting, and I need to see it happen a little bit more, but I want to go ahead and zoom in kind of on what's happening here. Look at the aggressiveness right here of its angle. That is pretty important because when we look over here, you can see already the aggressiveness right here has already been outdone with this crossing right here. So right here, this was the 28th. While we did see a great, I think this was the place where we saw that increase of what, 100 and something percent, 150%. It wasn't even as aggressive a cross as what we're seeing right here. Again, right here, our smallest one, not a very aggressive cross. And the one over here with 438, this one is also, it's more aggressive than the other one, but might not even be as aggressive of a cross as we see right here. Now again, technical analysis is not a perfect system. It works until it doesn't. But I do think this is something to keep our eyes on, that we are not just crossing bullish on the MACD, but it is actually a pretty aggressive cross that, if we're looking at history, could potentially explain why Michael Van De Pope and others are predicting not just barely beating our previous all-time high, but going a significant distance past it. So when we come to Cardano, our next thing is a couple interesting details have formed from Cardano. Let me go ahead and scroll to my notes. Sorry, guys, I'm not as good as Jeb. I have to have notes. Keeps me on track. But we have very interesting news breaking with Cardano and the merger and the marriage between them and Nervos and what that means. So we have right here today, I think this was yesterday actually. When was this posted? Doesn't really matter. It's new. Cardano to launch its first cross-chain bridge with link to Nervos. So here it talks about public chain projects. Nervos and Cardano said that they plan to enable interoperability. I don't think that's how that word's pronounced.
Interoperability.
That's a great one. Interoperability across their platforms within the next 6 weeks. The bridge furthers their goals of discovering the industry's Bluetooth moment. Nervos and IOHK, according to the development team behind Cardano. This launch is significant because it links two ecosystems worth billions of dollars in terms of market capitalization. The company said in a press release on Wednesday. It is the first bridge for Cardano, currently valued at $56.3 billion and the market's fourth most valued crypto. Blockchain accelerator mouse belt has been tapped. Okay, I don't even know if that's important. Ultimately, what I want to get to is what is the significance for you guys in owning Cardano. So the rest of this article, and I don't want to dig to find it because I don't want to waste time. I want to just give you guys the information. If you want to go look at this article, I'll scroll back up real quick. Go back to my screen real quick, Smay. It is entitled Cardano to launch its first cross-chain bridge with a link to Nervos. Now, back to me. Here is the significance of this. And Charles Hodgkin talks about this a little bit later in his article. This is massive for the adoption of crypto because up to this point, different platforms are not able to communicate with each other. So if you have a project on the Binance platform or the Ethereum platform or the Polkadot platform, they do not have any link to them whatsoever. So we actually see a very much a competing field of interest, and it almost seems like when one does well, it kind of hinders what other projects can do. Whereas Cardano and Nervos are working to bridge the gap between those, which will allow for bigger and more adoption to happen throughout the world and throughout crypto, which will allow you, the individual, to be able to go back and forth with ease and not have to worry about them competing with each other. Now, something that is super interesting, I do want to take some questions because this is something we actually even debated, even talking about, because I don't even know all the details. I would love to hear Jeb's take on it. I would love to hear your guys' take on it. Please don't listen to anything I just said and be like, oh, that's actual fact. That is the definition of truth. Tim knows everything, because that, as you guys know, is false. I'm learning, but I don't know everything yet. However, something I do want to point out before I go to chat and listen to what people say is the interesting nature of the fact that Nervos, actually go back to my screen, and because I want to show you guys, Nervos, as fascinating as it is a proof of work project. Where is it saying on here? Right here. Proof of work public blockchain. Now, it also talks about in this, I don't think it would ever actually rival Bitcoin or anything, but the whole purpose of Nervos is to allow any crypto asset to be stored with the security, immutability, and permissionless nature of Bitcoin while enabling smart contracts. So go back to me. So will Nervos ever rival Bitcoin? I don't think so. I don't think that's really even the question here. The question is, Charles Hoskinson, who has been pretty outspoken against Bitcoin's proof of work staking, is partnering with Nervos, who is a proof of work system. Now, I don't know yet all the details of what's happening. I'm assuming that Nervos is a faster moving platform than Bitcoin, but that is an interesting detail. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are, and let me know. Is there any questions in chat that would need to be answered?
Shout out to Matt C. Thank you for the donation.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what he said. Buy and hold Cardano. It will be life-changing if you do. You're killing it, Tim. Thanks, Matt. Matt is, we try not to rank our viewers. Matt, I would give you a solid top 10 vote. I don't know if we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but you are definitely within the top 10. You also are probably single-handedly funding this week's streams. I don't know if our company's making too much money other than what you're giving, so thank you so much. But do you have any thoughts?
There was a little part of me that wanted to say that exact same statement. I do think Cardano is going to change lives if you can hold. You got to hodl.
Yeah.
That's the only crypto I'm in. That's the only crypto I've ever been in. To be honest with you.
That's a great take, Crypto Gib.
Crypto Gib. I mean, a couple times. Someone's saying like this is the first thing they've ever got to watch without putting it into 0.5x speed. That is funny. Growing up, I did a lot of public speaking in high school. Everyone always critiqued that I needed to slow down. I met my match with Jeb. Jeb's got a skill set that is unmatched, at least in this office, and when it comes to speed. Now, what is interesting, I do have a special talent. This is a little private story. I do have a special talent. I actually watch a lot of Jeb's videos in 2x speed and comprehend most of it. So it's a challenge. If you're looking for something interesting to do and you don't have nothing better to do, go watch some of his videos in 2x speed. It would be interesting. Crypto Vet just commented. He said, I'll help too. Keep up the good work. Yeah, Crypto Vet, I saw your chat earlier. For those of you who don't know, go follow CryptoJet. Amazing new channel. I know Jeb is very high on him. He was on a show on the blockchain with Jeb. And so, CryptoJet, reach out to us. I think if we haven't done it already, I think we want to do a collab with you.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that donation. All right, so let's go ahead and move back. Was there any thoughts, anything in the chat about thoughts on proof of work with Cardano's partnership with Nervos? Anything there?
Yeah, people just want to know if they buy Cardano, would they just sit on it? Like that's what we're just telling everybody right now. Just hold.
If people, okay, great question. We can do that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But you know what? I'll give a little teaser as to what we're going to talk about when it comes to the mindset of cryptocurrency. So I don't want to give away too much because I want to say that for a little bit later. But what I would say to answer that question is, and this is not sort of Crypto Tim giving this information. This is sort of Crypto Tim regurgitating the knowledge of Crypto Jeb. And that is, you should always have two different portfolios and they should not, okay, I was about to say they shouldn't cross. There should be a cross. But you should have your holding portfolio and your trading portfolio. When I say they shouldn't cross, what I actually mean is your holding portfolio should never get bled into your trading portfolio. Whereas your trading portfolio could, if you want to, if you like where it's at, especially if we're low in the market, trade stuff over into your holding. But That is a concept that Jeb has been using for years, and is one of the reasons why he is a millionaire, is because he does not ever touch his holdings. When he buys and he puts into his holding portfolio, that is it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I hope that answers your question. If not, stay in the stream. We're going to talk a little bit more. All right, so let's go ahead and keep moving because I know it's 9:53. Let's move into really quickly looking at Ethereum. There's no news that I'm going to report on in Ethereum, but I do want to look at what is happening on the chart because, again, what is the thing of the day? The MACD. Now, Ethereum is a little bit different than Bitcoin and Cardano because Bitcoin and Cardano have both had a confirmation of a cross on the MACD, whereas Ethereum is looking like, if you zoom in really closely, oh, that's not what I wanted. If you zoom in really closely, all right, we technically have crossed, but I want to see a little bit more. I am probably 90% sure, I'm going to make sure that's centered so everyone sees it. I'm probably 90% sure that this is a confirmation of a cross, but give us until tomorrow before we officially say, yes, without a shadow of the doubt, we did have an official cross on the MACD. But that is super important because, again, we're going to go look at the history of what has happened in Ethereum when we have a cross on the MACD. So again, I got my yellow lines right here. We have a cross right here on the 26th of April. And if you follow the chart on the 26th of April, that would have sent us up to a 146% growth. If we go back here to the 30th of March, we had another cross right here, and we had a growth of 70%. If we go back here to the 7th of March, this one was the smallest one at 54%. And then again on the 2nd of February, we had one where we had a 108% increase. So again, while technical analysis works until it doesn't, if we just look at recent history of this cycle, we would see that if we were going to hold true, even at the smallest estimate, we should have a 50% increase, which would send us all the way to 3,200. Now, realistically, I think it's going to be closer to that 70, which would put us closer to 3,700, which is a prediction that I made a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I did it on stream, but if you had looked at what was happening over here, which let me get rid of this real quick. If you looked at what's happening over here with a very, very ugly inverse head and shoulders pattern. However, it was an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If you do the technicals there, you would find your price prediction at 3,700. But hopefully, I'm hoping that Ethereum eclipses that and goes closer to that 146%, in which case we will be setting a new all-time high and could be sitting as high as 5,300, almost pushing 5,400. Now, am I saying that's going to happen? Not necessarily. There's a lot that needs to happen. There's a lot that's going to shake out. Ultimately, as you guys know, even if you haven't been in that long, because I've only been in crypto heavily for the last 6 months, but right as something is happening in the technicals that is confirming and doing all this stuff, some piece of information will come out, some fundamental analysis will come out and change the game. But realistically, this whole idea is saying we are probably most likely seeing a resume to the bull market just before we go take a loan from the bank, which please don't ever do that to go invest in crypto. But before you just go all in on crypto, let's wait a little bit longer for confirmation, and let's be intelligent and make money in the process. So anything in chat from Ethereum before we move on, because that is all I have as far as technical analysis, but we have some interesting things we want to get into, but I do want to answer anything in chat before we go there.
Nothing seems to be popping up right now.
Someone says, my advice, don't trade it all unless you are 9,000% sure it will do whatever you bet on. I don't know if my number is that high. I can't confirm that, but that, if that works for you, that works for you. All right. Well, if there's nothing else better, quick, guys.
There's a really profound comment here. I'm surprised you didn't see it.
Uh-oh.
Michael Ross says, "Crypto smeb."
Crypto smeb.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
All right, you can finish what you're saying.
No, real quick, guys. Thank you so much for watching. The fact that we are sitting at 1,000 concurrents with no Jeb is a success in my book. He will be back on Monday, so if you guys watch this later or you didn't watch this, go tell your friends. Jeb is back. Stay with us. I'm hoping that I'm giving you guys value, but hit that like button. Let's get it here. If you're watching the stream, you truly are a fan of the show. So let's match that concurrent with the likes. Get us to 1,000 likes. If you haven't subscribed yet, but you love to be entertained and you like some information, again, I hope I'm giving you guys what you need, but Jeb is even better. So when he comes back, you guys will not want to miss anything he talks about. I also really think, especially when we look at those technicals today, I think we're going to see kind of sideways trading today and tomorrow. And then next week's where things are going to get very, very interesting. And Jeb is the technical analysis expert. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the show. Let's go ahead and move on to our next segment, and that is the crypto mindset. Now, here's the thing, guys. Am I a crypto expert? Absolutely not. There's a reason why I used to be called Non-Crypto Tim, and I have recently graduated as Sorta Crypto Tim, and I don't know when I can officially get rid of the Sorta and just be called Crypto Tim. Ultimately, though, this mindset is what has allowed me to grow as fast as I have, and this is not my created mindset. This is a mindset created by Jeb and other experts, and I've watched them use this and be successful. And here's the thing. We made a stream a couple weeks ago, or actually I guess it was like 2 months ago, where we were talking about if you're new to crypto, and I know a lot of people in this chat are not new to crypto. They've been here for a while. You know more than me, and that's awesome. But there are a lot of people watching and that will watch this who are new to crypto, and if you do not find out right now how to have a proper mindset going forward, you're going to make mistakes or you're going to miss out. I mean, you guys have all seen those movies where that one person, they're in a really dire situation, the person freaks out, they stand up, they run away, something bad happens to them. I'm not allowed to say words on YouTube that have anything to do with what actually happens there, but ultimately, what I want to urge you guys is even if you are new, even if this doesn't make sense, even if that gut feeling inside of you is like saying, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, learn to have the proper mindset to know when to get in and when to get out. Now, with everything happening in the news, despite all the FUD, we are watching story after story come out of people adopting crypto, people coming out and saying it is an unstoppable train. We have to remember that concept, and we have to begin to think about things long term and not just short term. Again, that's hard for me to say, seeing as that I've only been in crypto. I've only been invested for about a year, and I've only been really paying attention for about 6 months. However, this is super important, and this is what I want you guys to know. You got to stop looking at your portfolios, especially your holding portfolio, and looking at the dollar amount next to your coin. You've got to stop measuring what your US dollar looks like in comparison to your crypto. This is something that Peter Brandt came out recently and confirmed that he had to change his way of thinking. So this isn't even me or Jeb. This is even Peter Brandt, who is a technical analysis Bitcoin. I would say he's an expert. He's very bullish on it, even though he is one who thinks maybe we're going to see a little bit of a drop down to 30,000. But what he talked about is he had to change his mindset and stop thinking about what can I do with Bitcoin to turn Bitcoin into US dollars and thinking what can I do with US dollars to turn it into Bitcoin. And that's the thing. Stop looking at the dollar amount in your portfolio and start looking at the coin, whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Cardano. If you believe in it, start looking at that price, because ultimately when the US dollar goes up, that's great. You know what just happened when the US dollar amount goes up in your portfolio? That is power leaking from the US dollar and going into your project. I'm going to use Bitcoin just as an example. So that is your portfolio of Bitcoin is taking power away from the US dollar, which is exactly what we want to happen, correct? When the price goes down, it's okay, because guess what? When that price goes down, let's say you had 3 Bitcoin. When the price goes up, you still have 3 Bitcoin. When the price goes down, you still have 3 Bitcoin. But it just got a little cheaper, so you can get more of it. So when the price goes back up again,
average
that
down,
power comes even more.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of Bitcoin in general, is that we have to have this mindset. We have to have this mindset. It is not about the US dollar. It is not about our immediate needs and our immediate, well, we need to take care of our immediate needs. It's not about our immediate wants. Like, there's that urge, there's that feeling inside of us, man, how do I make $1 million now, right now, tomorrow? No, what is best for me and my family long term financially? Yeah. And the real thing is you've got to take seriously your education. And you know what? This is a perfect season in kind of a downward trend. In we saw, some people are saying, did we enter the bear cycle? Are we in the bear market? Whether the answer is yes or no, this is the perfect season to focus on, hey, what can I do to learn, to have proper mindsets, to grow my knowledge, and then to get better at investing and knowing what I'm doing with my finances? Ultimately, the whole purpose of cryptocurrency in the first place is wrapped up perfectly by an Austrian economist back in 1974 named Friedrich Hayek. And I think we've said this quote on here before, but I want to remind you guys, if you are new, to think this way. So ultimately, we can all agree there's a problem with our current economy. There's a problem with the centralized banking, the centralized government, all of this, right? This has stemmed from the inflation of money and nothing solid or hard holding money in a firm place, right? And cryptocurrency, just so you guys know, or blockchain technology was not invented until 1991, and Bitcoin was not invented until 2008. But back in 1974, this quote rings truer than ever, and that is by Friedrich Hayek. He said, "I do not believe we will ever see a good money again before we take the thing out of the hands of the government I'm going to stop right there. We will never see good money again, good economics again, good wealth again until we take the power out of the hands of the government. Now, we have seen in history, and you don't even have to talk about the vast thing of history, when people try to take power from government, they do it in a violent way. Sometimes there's been success, sometimes there's been failure, and when that does happen, failure, it's pretty stinking ugly. Even the times where it was successful, it was still ugly. Frederick goes on to say, that is, we can't take it from them violently out of the hands of the government. We can't do it violently, but all we can do is in some sly roundabout way introduce something that can't be stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, what is Bitcoin? What is cryptocurrency? It is something that is scaring the crap out of centralized banks, scaring the crap out of centralized governments. Why do you think there's so much FUD in the news? It's because it is something that cannot be stopped, and it takes their power away.
Chills.
When you are thinking mindset, you've got to be thinking long term, because guess what? The government, the banks, they're able to think long term. And you know what's happening is they're looking at this long term and they're saying, uh-oh, we got a problem. We better start doing everything we can to scare people out of holding, to scare people out of getting involved, because if they actually catch on to what is happening, we are in trouble. And that is what we have. So again, do not look at that dollar amount. Look at the Bitcoin amount or the Ethereum amount or the Cardano amount and think, what can I do to get that number to go up, not my US dollars? I'm going to take a break before we go to our next segment and make sure there's anything in chat that you guys have to ask for. I know that was a big, deep moment, but questions we have, even in the room. You guys have any questions? Anything on the stream?
Someone said new name, Mindset Tim.
Mindset Tim. I like it. I actually use that word mindset a lot. I get made fun of. We talked about yesterday. I get bullied a lot. I get bullied for a lot of reasons. I get bullied for being an athlete. I get bullied for using phrases. I get bullied a lot. But you know what? Haters gonna hate. You gotta move forward. Smay, what you got?
So I have a question from closest near Utopia. I don't really understand it. It says, Smay, when do you gonna have your part? Or did you already? Then I will scroll back to check later if that's the case.
You know what? We have a good breaking point. Smay, what do you want to talk about? This can kind of fall into the segment of things we can do when Jeb's not here, or things we can't do when Jeb is here, / story time. Smay, what do you want?
Guys, I have multiple things. One, the Celtics, the front office is a mess. It's crazy.
That was rough, yeah.
And also, guys, I just want to say that I like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is good. Cardano is good. And Ethereum is all right. I prefer Polkadot, guys. Do your research on Polkadot. I think it's actually a good one. That's a sleeper hit. No one really talks about it. And also, I have pet turtles. Did you guys know that? I have a turtle name.
This is why there hasn't been too much Smay time.
Let me talk about my turtles.
Is there a cutoff point for this?
No.
Just keep going?
Oh my
So I have a turtle named Francis Ford Coppola. I have a turtle named Steven Spielberg, and I have a turtle named Elon Musk, who is a Musk turtle, which makes it funnier. Anyways, back to Tim.
Yeah. All right. That was good. Smay, anytime you want to chime in. I told them before the stream, if they want to say anything, to raise their hand. Smay has not raised his hand.
Christ Crypto says, finally some Smay airtime.
I know. We will get more Smay airtime. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, we will carve out a whole segment at the end of the stream where we will literally just let Smay go on his rants because you guys probably want to miss it, but some of you don't.
Goodness.
Let's wrap up the stream. There's when I say wrap up the stream, we have a little bit more, but I do want to address, we talked about at the beginning of the stream, the XRP conundrum. Tim, just so you guys know, it's actually kind of a compliment. I am becoming public enemy number one from XRP, and it's okay. My Twitter has never seen so many notifications as it did yesterday after my segment. If you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, I talked about why the entire office here, McAfee Media, is against XRP and purchasing of it. That extends to Jeb. Now, ultimately, I was the one that said it, so the attack comes against me. I'll take that. That's awesome. What I do want to verify, first of all, what was his name? Matt Hamilton. Matt, I would love to connect with you. If you're watching this, connect with us. I do want to take a second and apologize for one thing, and only one thing. I did use the phrase, I hope you lose money, and I just want to backtrack for just a second. That was the wrong word choiceage. And some of you are going to say, some of you who agree with me are going to be like, Tim, you don't need to apologize for that. Like, you have your opinion. I hope they lose money too. And some of you who are XRP enthusiasts are going to be like, you're never going to forgive me. Like, you're just going to be like, oh, Tim said it. He's public enemy number one. Who cares? Ultimately, I'm not apologizing because I want forgiveness, and I'm not apologizing because I have to. I'm apologizing because I want to continue to conduct myself as a man of integrity who, when I make a mistake, despite the implications of it confessing it, when I make a mistake, I'm going to confess I made a mistake. I want to clarify. I do not want you to lose money. I want you to gain money. And that is why I gave the advice that I gave. Now, as people hated against me, like, oh, you don't even know decentralization or centralization. You don't know what's happening. You used one paragraph that was completely false. No, when I was doing my research, I went to XRP's white paper. I went and read articles posted by XRP maximalists. I have done my research on XRP, and here's the problem. Even the decentralization of it is still centralized. And I'm not going to go into that whole thing right now. We can do that later on. I would love to talk with you, Matt Hamilton, or anybody else about it. I'm not against being disagreed with. In fact, I encourage it. If you disagree with me, I love hearing it, because ultimately the only way we're going to move forward in life is when people who disagree with each other get in a room, talk about it, and even if they continue to walk out of that room disagreeing, they at least can have a form of respect for one another. So that's what I want you guys to know is, even though I am not an XRP fan and I still think you should not hold it, I want to take back what I said about I hope you lose money. No, I hope you gain money. But ultimately, I stand by my statement that I think XRP is an enemy of the movement that cryptocurrency was made to fight. And I think that as XRP does well, I think it's going to actually long-term hurt those of us who are trying to take back the power from those centralized systems. And so I want you to make money by doing it in the places that will actually further get us away from centralization. Now, whether you think that's true or not, we can have that conversation. But I do want to apologize to you. I do not want you to lose money. I want every single person in the world to be successful, to live the life they were made to live. And that's all I have to do on XRP. We'll talk about it in the future, but wanted to start there. So
what happened while I was gone yesterday? That all this drama happened?
It was great. I mean, like I said, the only thing I'm apologizing for is that one statement. I do not apologize about anything else because I'm allowed to have that opinion. But I do want to make sure I'm not against you guys as people or as individuals. I disagree.
I would like to say I was one of the first people to have that take in this office. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I was the OG XRP hater. But, you know, I've since relinquished my hate.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the last segment of the day, and that is things we cannot do when Jeb is here / Storytime. So let us know. I know Smay probably maybe has some ideas already, but let us know in chat any questions you guys have. And if you have a serious question about anything we talked about, you can ask that. We'll try to answer that. But also, if you have any good questions about Jeb, about us as a team, I know Caleb and Greg are new, so if you have any questions for them and want to hear more about them, let us know. We'll give it a couple of minutes before we wrap out the stream.
Something that Jeb said that I actually really appreciated was when you were talking about basically like smart investing. You know, a lot of people are looking at the dollar amount and they're freaking out, so they're selling and they're buying back in at a higher price. I love what he said, and I think he said it last week. When a hurricane is taking place, you don't go outside and try and play in it. You hunker down, right? So I think I've taken that metaphor to heart, and I'm trying to make sure that whether Cardano goes up, whether Cardano goes down, which, by the way, I'm a no-coiner, all right? I don't hold Bitcoin. I promise I'm going to get there. Just give me some time warming up to it. But with Cardano, if it goes up or down, to anybody who's asking that question, should I hold? Should I buy it now? Just buy and hold.
Yeah.
Just buy and hold. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, no, ultimately, that is the name of the game. And like we talked about earlier, that idea of portfolios. Have your holding portfolio that is not, you don't touch it. And the truth is, even in the future, you don't want to pull out of that even until you have some form of confirmation you think we've hit the top. But I do think there's going to be a day where we will measure our wealth in Bitcoin. So that's just my 2 cents. But I don't want to give you that advice and say just run with that because I said so. I want you to do your own research. However, people on here are talking about, they want to talk about Bitcoin. I will, anything you guys have, any questions you guys have, Bitcoin sideways is always boring. Yeah, I was saying that. You want to go back to my screen real quick, just so you guys know. A couple days ago, we did not do a prediction this week, and so we're not closing out our show today with price predictions because Jeb is off. So we're like, yeah, he's not even going to get a chance to win. Let's just take a week off. However, someone did ask, Tim, where do you think Bitcoin will be sitting on Friday? So here is my answer, and it's playing pretty close to what I was expecting. To be fair, I would be very, very excited to be wrong and to be it be way above what I predicted. But I was suspecting. Let me actually go to the 4-hourly chart just so we can see a couple more candlesticks. Go here. All right. So again, when I was talking, we were sitting somewhere right around here. Let's see, at 36. I think we were actually sitting right here at 37 something, 38 something. And someone asked, what were we on Friday? Just so you guys know, Friday will be sitting somewhere around right here, this time frame right here. I expected that if we broke bullish out of this resistance, we were probably going to at least semi hit our head on this 40,000, which we're not necessarily done yet, although we are seeing the candlesticks right there. We closed a little bit higher, but we've already started kind of a downtrend. But ultimately, I think we're going to trade sideways. I said that I think we're going to be sitting somewhere around 37,000. We're not too far away from that. Again, I would love to be wrong and us be sitting up here on Friday, break this $40,000 resistance. However, just in case we don't, I don't want you to have this mindset of like, oh no, we're dropping low again. We drop below this level of support and this level of support and come down here to like 25. If we go to 25,000, the amount of people who will go ahead and buy in is absolutely ridiculous, and we will see like a mini trampoline. I'll go ahead and draw it for you. If we drop down here and come down to 25,000, we're going to see like a little trampoline where we bounce and shoot back up. So while I don't know if we necessarily need that, ultimately, we have the Bitcoin 2021 coming this weekend, starting today down in Miami. I'm hoping that gives us a little rally, but that's also maybe some thought like, is that causing us to be here instead of down here and dropping below? I don't know. We'll find out. Most likely know next week what is happening, and Jeb will be back, so he will give you everything you need to know there. But that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. It's not doing too much different than what I necessarily expected, and I'm very much expecting next week, whether it's down or whether it's continuation up, I'm expecting something to happen. I think our sideways movement on Bitcoin is coming to an end. So I hope that answered that question. Anything else in chat? Any stories you guys, while I was talking, you guys saw that people wanted us to answer?
People want to know how we all met.
Oh, yeah. Someone asked that question yesterday. Okay. Let's see.
Caleb was at the club. That I was doing
It's true, yeah. Caleb, no, that's too far. So the first meeting actually in this room, Jeb and I were the first ones to know each other. So I was leading a micro church on Santa Fe College campus. I used to work for Greenhouse Church, and I helped run college ministry stuff. So I met him at Santa Fe College, and he was in my micro church for years, and we became very close friends through all of that. I began to train him. I used to be a trainer, so I was training him. Those of you who have been around and watching Crypto Jeb for years, you guys have seen him put on some pounds, put on some muscle. He's become a freak in the weight room. He loves it. Like sometimes he goes out there to de-stress and is out there for like 3 hours. He's become a monster. But that's how we met. That's how Jeb and I met. He asked me to come be the president of the company back in December because he needed some structure, he needed some organization, and I had experience in leadership. So that's how Jeb and I met. Caleb and I met very, 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 very long time ago. He was screaming. I was probably crying. He looks up to me. I'm his hero in life. So that's pretty much how we met. Smay and I. Smay, how long have we known each other? I'm like, Smay, you answer some questions on how you met some people.
I met you a long time ago. I would say probably when I was somewhere in middle school. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact time. I just know you used to hang out with Samuel Polans all the time.
Yes.
So.
No, it was weird because Smay and I become really close. You guys on stream, sometimes you guys think that like Smay and I are enemies, like we're against each other. Smay and I are very close. But in fact, look forward to our Twitter. Well, I don't know if our Twitter's gonna play it, but our Instagram and TikTok is gonna have a video coming out today, giving you a great indication of Smay and I's relationship.
Yes.
But I spent the night at his house like 2 years ago, even though him and I were not friends. It's because one of my good friends, Sam, is friends with his older brother. His older brother was baby, like I think watching the house and just, hey, can you guys come spend the night with me? I was like, yeah, let's go do it. Yeah. But no, Smay, Steven, if you're watching, I love you, but I think Smay's cooler.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
my
right,
unbiased
baby.
opinion. You know?
Also, so the way I met Jeb was that I didn't.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So essentially, I started working here because Dasa, No Chill Dasa, if you guys know who I'm talking about, he said, or this was such a weird story, so I might get into it. I'm going to not spend too much time on it, but it's kind of funny. So basically what happened was, guys, that he approached me. I was working at Chick-fil-A at the time. And he approached me and said, hey, I'm working for this guy. He does YouTube videos. Yeah. And he needs a videographer, which that's my background. If you guys didn't know, like my background is more like cinema, video, stuff like that. So I'm kind of learning as I go with this live production stuff. But he goes, oh, yeah, no, we need a videographer. So I'm like, okay. At first I told him no, because I was like, I just got promoted at Chick-fil-A, so I'm like, I'm doing fine. I don't know. This is some random guy. I don't want to go work for a YouTuber. And he was like, okay. And ended up, after a while, I was like, dang, Chick-fil-A actually sucks. So I was like, hey, guys.
The sandwiches suck or working there sucks?
No, working there sucks.
Okay,
so I was like, hey, is there still like, is there still an opening or whatever? And he says, yeah, I can get you. And I'll talk to him. Talks to him. Jeb says no. So then I'm now no longer a candidate. So then I go back to working Chick-fil-A, doing my thing. And then he calls me again. He says, hey, they want you. I said, well, what the heck? And then I say, okay, then I'm in. And then he says, okay, let me talk to him. Talks to him. They say no. And I'm like, well, what the heck? And then they call me again. And they say, yeah, okay, they want you. Come do an interview. Well, I just happened to get in.
It's called flirting.
No, listen.
We were flirting with you.
I got in on an interview. I got an interview while Jeb was away. So Tim was the one who interviewed me. And I got hired before Jeb ever met me.
Yeah, I just needed one look at
great.
him, and I was like, yeah, he's the man.
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
that was the story, guys. They didn't want me, and then they kind of got stuck with me. So
yeah, someone asked why we're talking about this. Someone asked us if we could explain how we met each other. I'm gonna wrap out the rest of this because Greg and Smay just met because we just hired Greg 2 weeks ago.
No,
Actually.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well we don't have time.
We don't have time, but I've known Jeb since I was a wee lad.
Continue.
Yeah, I met Greg 2 years ago, just about. Yeah. He also was involved with Greenhouse Church down in South Florida. I was here in Gainesville. I was on a mission trip down in South Florida, and I got to meet Greg, and I'm super excited to have him on the team. It's awesome. And like I said, I met Caleb a very, very long time ago. So that is the answer to that question. You know, guys.
I met Caleb last week.
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and wrap out the stream because our thought was, you guys kept us a little longer. Our thought was just to go to 10:15, but we made it. We made it past there. I'm very proud of us as a team for having information to talk about longer than 45 minutes. So it's great. Hopefully you guys like the stream. If you have not hit that like button already, and if you found a lot of value, because I know there's a lot of deep stuff in here. I know, even though it was me. I think that you really, 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 if you didn't see the whole stream, go back and watch it again because it is very important information. I would be very surprised if that did not have a massive stamp of approval from Jeb whenever he ends up watching it. But guys, I want to thank you guys for being here and give you the most important advice you will ever receive. And whether you like it or not, I have to still give it because I am obligated to. Please don't buy XRP. Thank you. And now we're doing our thing where Smay doesn't end the stream. And
Sorry,
I'm just
wait.
going to keep looking at the camera.
Is that the
you
end?
know it's the end, Smay.
No, I didn't know.
Okay.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
Are you going to snap for me or something? Okay.
Oh!